Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Bella here. Today's video is for those of you who have not spoken English for 10 years or more and now want to pick it up again. Where can you start? And what can you do to improve it? These are the questions I want to talk about today. If you're interested, please keep watching. If you find the content helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss a video with me. Without further ado, let's get started. Maybe you're thinking about furthering your education overseas, doing another master in a different field, or you want to explore job opportunities in another country. Either way, you will need to be able to speak the English language well enough to achieve your goals. For a lot of us, however, the last time when we spoke English or actually sat down to read an English article was over a decade ago. Most of our professions don't require us to use English at all. Having been out of the game for so long, we naturally feel panicked and lost when we need to pick up where we left off again. There could be a few reasons why we would feel this way. We might have forgotten where we were years ago. We forget how much we knew and how well we spoke the language. It could also be that we just got rusty over the years, and it's suddenly occurring to us that we might not know as much about English as we want to. Or that the approaches we used to take to learn English don't seem to be working for us anymore, and we don't know what else to do. If you're going through this problem and happen to be struggling with these questions, I hope you can find some answers to them in this video. The first question we often ask is what we should do if we have forgotten most of the grammatical rules we learned in high school. The good news is you'll probably be fine. We might not like to hear this, but a lot of the grammar we learned in high school has only ever been used for the English exams back then. For day-to-day formal and informal communication, only a fraction of the grammatical rules are needed for us to be able to express ourselves correctly. So if you have thrown away a lot of your previous grammar knowledge, you'll probably still be able to speak English really well with the right choice of practice. Instead of spending time learning grammar again, you might be better off spending the time learning the practical expressions and sentence structures so that you can use them in your conversations. As long as you have the basic understanding of the sentence structure, like what the subject, verb, and object are in a sentence, you can pick up your English faster if you spend time listening to English audios, practicing speaking, and reading English books. Another question we might have is what we should do if we find it hard to put together a sentence. This would happen especially if we have not used English for a while. Things got lost and the connections we used to have in our brain between the ideas and English expressions are mostly gone. And that's why it takes us a long time to think of the right vocabulary to express ourselves. And the same may apply to the listening comprehension. We might recognize a word here and there, but we might get lost 5 seconds into the audio and find it impossible to keep up with it. In this case, we might not want to start our speaking practice yet. I would recommend start to immerse yourself in the English language environment as much as you can. By that, I meant listening to English audios every single day. You might want to start with an audio files that suit your level as well. At the very least, you should be able to follow the general idea without having to pause at the end of every sentence all the time. Select some English reading material as well, something that's not too academic or technical. You can try reading it out loud for a certain length of time every day. Reading the text out loud will help your brain register the sounds of these common phrases and expressions. When you're relaxing, perhaps consider selecting an English TV show or interviews of celebrities that you like, basically any kind of English videos that you know you will enjoy watching. The point here is to increase your language input in every way possible so as to force your brain to re-establish the connections you lost over the years due to the lack of practice. We might run into another question in the process, which is whether or not to work on our pronunciation. The answer to this question is going to be very personal. Like I've mentioned before, it's really up to you at the end of the day how you want your spoken English to be and what you like to work on. For me, I've always had a serious interest in the English pronunciation, and I think it's safe for me to say that those who can speak English in a native-like accent have benefited significantly from it with almost no exception. For us to decide to commit ourselves again to learning English as adults, chances are we're hoping to get to a higher level than we were at before. If that is your goal, then I would recommend relearning the English pronunciation. Not knowing better, we may have been pronouncing many words incorrectly for years. English pronunciation and speaking skills were the two aspects that were not given enough attention to throughout our secondary education. Because of that, we fail to learn about the fundamental differences between the English pronunciation and the Chinese pinyin. For a long time, we tried to imitate how we think native English users speak the language without the actual knowledge of how these sounds are produced. We're often so overly dependent on our knowledge of the Chinese pinyin when learning the English pronunciation that we forget these are two different phonetic systems. It's not surprising that despite our efforts, we still couldn't sound like a native speaker. And that's exactly why it would be worth our time to relearn the ins and outs of the English pronunciation. Alright, that's it for our video today. I hope you have found some useful information in this video. Please do not hesitate to leave your comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions. Until next time, take care.